Another exciting night on a Saturday. What the heck? So, tonight we're going to work on the mental body, and it's an etheric body as well. And so the etheric bodies kind of slide right into the physical bodies, and we use them all the time. And I think the mental body is the one we're working on the most this lifetime, in that well, hard to say, but yeah, we're really shifting out of one thought pattern into another. And that goes hand in hand with the spiritual side as well. But it's really fun to look at each of these and give them a little healing and then recalibrate them so they all work together in harmony. Kind of like different instruments in a symphony. It would be kind of boring if we just had one sound. So having that range of emotion and mental process and spirituality combined with the physical is a great way of having it all come together. So I'm Mary Bell from Psychic Horizon Center, and we're going to start like we start every class. We're going to start by grounding. So if you would, go ahead, you can turn your attention inward to you and kind of imagine the base of your spine. And just as easily, imagine the very center of the earth. And let those 2 points become connected. And you can use a hollow pipe, a giant redwood tree where you're sitting on the trunk. The roots grow into the center of the earth. It can be a beam of light. Energy isn't fussy. And expand that grounding cord so it's as big around as your hips. And it's going to extend all the way down to the center of the earth and is anchored there. Kids like to use monkey tails and wrap them around a big stick in the center of the earth. Or flowers. Again, energy isn't fussy, so there's no effort in that. And as you ground, you begin to let go of anything that isn't yours. So just take about 3 deep breaths, letting your attention be inside yourself. You can turn off all the noise from the day. Just being present with you. And as we meditate, we turn the noise of the body down so that we can be more in the spirit part of us. And our mental body is our intellect, our ability to think and reason. And it's made up of our thoughts, our attitudes, our beliefs, our values. And our mind, to me, can be our greatest gift or our greatest curse. It's interesting. So when we heal this space, it lets us think clearer, be more open-minded, and maybe discriminate intelligently. Our minds gather knowledge and wisdom from our life experience and from the world around us. We were talking earlier about learning, visiting other countries, even online, and how much you can learn about another country by visually, seeing it on TV. So it's kind of interesting to look at how we gather information and how we choose what we believe, our values and our philosophies that support our consciousness as we grow. And, if you look at where you were in your 20s, it might be real different than where you are now. Look at the values you grew up with and the ones you have now. Are you working off of your concepts or the family's concepts? Look at some of the values that you cherish and really hold on to. And just notice, is it built out of your own life experience, or is it something that was passed down from generation to generation? And as we grow and change, and I think evolve spiritually, you open more and more to be able to have different viewpoints. It's kind of like being neutral and allowing yourself to learn from everything around you. So there isn't just one way of thinking. And it's great when you can sit and listen to a view that's totally opposite of yours and just go, isn't that interesting? I wonder what this person sees in that. That isn't my experience, but learning to listen and just allow that other person to be where they are. And as we do that more and more, we start to open and have our awareness broaden so that while we may not choose that way, we can embrace someone else in doing that. So giving more neutrality to all those around us. And as we start manifesting faster and faster on the planet, this is part of what is changing. And it's kind of like if you look at any old concept that chains you, it's like becoming aware of where you get restricted, where are you not allowed to go. So becoming aware of those core beliefs. Now there's some you're not going to change, like look both ways before you cross the street. Hey, I'm keeping that one. That way we don't get flat as a pancake. But there are other core beliefs that I have let go of because they don't serve me. It's a different age than it was 60 some years ago. So really looking for yourself tonight and noticing which kind of beliefs limit you and which ones free you. So we're going to go all the way back to childhood on a journey tonight. So close your eyes and go inward and look at some of the rules you had as a child. Look at some of those belief systems. And as you notice those childhood beliefs, see which ones serve you now and which ones really limit your ability to participate in the world. To me, there's a lot of shoulds. Where do you get controlled by, I should do this? And just kind of notice, which ones are you ready to let go of? What are the things that don't serve you now as an adult that you grew up with? And allow yourself to get curious about some of the ones. Any shoulds. Is that appropriate in present time, in this moment, in this age? Asking questions sometimes helps you figure out whether something is still present for you or not. And we're going to do a little mental body healing. So you can imagine a little, like a gingerbread boy cut out, a little figure that has arms and legs and is just clear. And notice any energy in there, any mental energy that keeps you serious or in resistance to life. You might notice any dark colors in that mental body that don't serve you. And just on an energy level, imagine you can take a sponge and just rub out or wipe out any of those old concepts that aren't serving anymore. Moving out any old beliefs that maybe belong to your grandparents or your parents, anyone you went to school with, and make room for your new ideas, the concepts that you live with now. And notice anything that triggers that mental body. It's kind of fun when you get triggered to go, oh, what is that? What is that made me feel angry or sad or in grief? What brought me out of neutral into this feeling of resistance? You can almost feel it in your gut. The gut kind of tightens. And that's a great clue that you're in resistance to something. And the more you resist it, the tighter you hold it. So if you can just find a tiny bit of amusement, it helps release it. And you can start to move some of that energy out. It's mental, so you're going to want to analyze it, try and figure it out. So you can evaluate ideas that you've had, understand them, do them again. And so we're making room inside this mental body. And one of the fun things that's fun to do is to go back and look at your native intelligence. Like what unique intellectual qualities did you come in with? What were you fascinated with as a kid? What came to you naturally? Could have been music, games, nature, talking to spirits, dance, play acting, all that creative and imagination. What were your talents? We're not looking at grades or school in that way, but what were your awarenesses as a kid? There's always a passion or something that you're usually drawn to. I've said earlier, our mom, there were 5 of us, and our mom was killed when I was 3, but 5 of us under 6. And so we did talk to spirits. We saw spirits. And we never lost that ability. Every one of us is on a spiritual path. We do it very differently. But it's really fun that the worst tragedy became also our best gift. So that awareness of playing with spirit was very present my whole life. And so it's fun to look back and just see what natural awareness did you come in with, and kind of writing those skills down, because we're going to combine them in a few minutes. Look at some of the things you like to do. I have a friend who's always been into nature and is doing a forestry training. And I think going to take people on adventures, on healing quests in the mountains and in the forest. And I thought, what a perfect occupation for that person, because that's her best love, is nature. And you see this all the time. The musical geniuses, hey, they're listening to that drive, that mental, authentic gift that they have, and following it. And so if you look at that on one side, and then you look at your current abilities, how in tune are they? Are they in sync? Is there a way you can combine them? So the gifts you came in with and the ones you have now as an adult, is there a pathway that you can combine those 2 gifts and use them in everyday life? it's really kind of fun to be able to authentically be who you are, using that native intelligence and your current skills. So close your eyes for just a minute and see that mental body in front of you again. And then just create a soap bubble out in front of you for any level of inflexibility, seriousness, and just put it in that bubble and pop it. Do another bubble for any rules and regulations, any shoulds that control you. Pop that, pull it out of your body into that bubble and let it go. And create another bubble in front of you for any of your mom's energy, any of her rules. Doesn't mean you don't love your mom, just means you're letting go of some of the rules. You can put a little magnet in that bubble and let it pull out of your body anything that doesn't work for you, and pop it. Take a deep breath. Let's do a bubble for Dad. Any of his rules. Again, you can use a little magnet and let it pull out of your body anything that doesn't work for you. Pop it. Do another one for family energy. This can be all those generations, both sides. Just any family energy where you get conflicted or it makes you feel serious. Just let that energy go into that bubble and pop it. We're going to do a lot of popping tonight. Do another bubble and let this be for school energy, whether it was grade school, high school, college. Any of the rules or structure that you were given that it has to be done a certain way. Pop that. And do one more. And let this just be for any other energy. Could be friends or society at large. They're great with rules. Anything that's not an affinity to your own information. Just pop it. And then just put a huge gold sun above your head, twice as big as your body. And just fill it with validation for your own innate awareness, your own native intelligence, and your own wisdom. Pop that gold sun and let it fill you in from head to toe. And then set the vibration of your mental body to that native intelligence, that playfulness that you came in with, that awareness. And just notice how that feels in that native, in that mental body, bringing that wisdom that you came in with this lifetime. How does it start to change that mental body when you put that information in there? When you start to give yourself permission to be in affinity with who you really are. To not have to be caught up in the rules or other people's ideas. And just adjusting your mental body to anywhere you would like it to be. And you might notice, where was it when we first started looking at it, and where is it now that we've kind of given it a little healing? And just validate the difference. This is you working on yourself, healing your own experience and setting it the way that it works for you. Many times when we're growing up, we get an idea that we're limited and that we need to change. We can't be who we are. And so as we clean that out, it gives us more space, and it lets the mental body start to communicate with the emotional body and the physical body, so that all that awareness starts to resonate through all parts of you. That mental body kind of drives you. And you'll notice when you're alert, you're really in present time. And you can almost begin to feel both sides of the brain coming in harmony with each other. And just for a minute, give each side of the brain a little healing. Just sending hellos between them. Hello, left brain, hello, right brain. Just letting that energy flow back and forth so that they come in harmony and in communication. And as you start to heal that mental body, you'll notice that your own personal growth lets you open into more of your creating, like that feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment in life. So as you start to grow outside those limiting beliefs, you start to feel more alive, because that validation within gets validated or supports that fulfillment in your life. And that mental level starts to support and harmonize with all the other levels in the body. And when we can bring them all together, then we understand our emotions, we can accept our feelings, we start to love ourselves more, and we start to really care for our bodies in a healthy way. So this is us waking up, becoming more conscious, learning from different viewpoints and philosophies, letting go of the old and making way for the new. And this is such a great time on Earth because the planet is shifting so quickly that you're going to get bombarded with new ideas. And that's great. It's going to increase your ability, your awareness. So again, take a deep breath, let go of any negative thoughts, any critical energy, anything that wants to stop you from expanding. And saying hello to where you are right now. If you get a negative thought, you can say hello to it. It's like, well, that's an interesting idea. I don't feel that way anymore. And releasing it. It's not that you can't ever have negative thoughts. Hey, where would we be? But as you expand, you want to say hello to where you are right now. And anything negative, you can just choose another way. So it's turning off that inner critic and allowing yourself to be a coach or a cheerleader for yourself mentally. So if you make a mistake, it's like, all right, that was a good one. and validating, hey, you made a mistake. That's sometimes how we learn. It's the best way. But being able to have that part of you, not from a critical level, but from a coach. Take another deep breath. And now with a little tuning fork, begin to tune that mental body in harmony with the emotional one we worked on last week. Let those two come in harmony. When the mind is clear and you're really excited about where you're going in life, it really reflects in that emotional body. And then tune it to the physical body. And this is one of the ways that as those three come into harmony, it really affects the physical body. You produce a healthy body just by intent, just by your mental awareness being in sync with your emotions and your physical body. Illness is just when we get out of communication. So it's giving yourself that space to give you a healing. So it's consciously pulling all of yourselves into creating a totally experiencing a mental scenario with all of your senses and your knowingness, bringing that awareness to the physical body. And just noticing how those three align. Can you feel the difference? Asking your body, how does it feel? Where is the biggest change in you? Taking that deep breath and just following it. Just giving yourself that space to be aligned and discover those three parts of you in harmony. And then create a little bit of an energy out in front of you in a bubble. And this is going to be anything that keeps you from trusting your own intuition, anything that keeps you from trusting what you feel as you bring that mental and the emotional bodies together. Just look at that vibration. Giving that to yourself. As we release the old, it gives us more of an ability to start to trust our own intuition, letting life unfold as it is. And just start by validating that you have the ability to let go of things that don't serve you as you've made room for more of what does serve you tonight. Looking at how that mental and emotional body connect, that validation when you bring them in harmony. And as you do that, another interesting thing begins to happen. And that's that your spiritual awareness begins to increase. So when the physical, the emotional, and mental bodies come together, it opens your awareness up into that place of spirit. So into the sixth chakra, between the brows and the crown at the top of the head, there's more room. There's more awareness to be who you are. You could say it's permission. You don't have to pretend. It's like letting that light in you come through. It just turns on. And that's how all of us kind of seek this path. We start to know there's something more out there and we want it. And that spirit part of us, that intuitive part, kind of drives us or pushes us to seek out that knowledge. I can remember for me, it was around 26. And it's like everything in me woke up at one point. And it was like, okay, I have to find other people that are spiritually aware. So it was like I was in Florida and I drove my car in search of psychics all the way out to California. I figured they had to be there or Boston, and Boston appeared too stuck up to me. Too many games, where Berkeley looked like it was more laid back and more awareness, more open. So I got in my car and I went in search of psychics. And I drove until I got to Berkeley, and there they were. I went in, got a reading, said, great, I'm home. I found my people and started studying. And that push, that drive to find that spiritual connection is such a strong one. It really motivates you to look. It's like, how did we all get here at the same time? All of us started to wake up at different points in our lives. And it leads you to find others who have the same awareness. And so it doesn't matter where you live. The great thing about Zoom is that we all can connect and we find each other. And there's that common ability to use your intuition, to be a healer. Some of us, I think one of my skills is teaching. I love to do readings, but teaching is really my passion. So it's kind of fun to look and see, what do you love? What drew you as a spirit to do this kind of meditation, to find this kind of group of people? And validate that in yourself. Everybody wakes up at a different time. There's no right time, but it's great when you can find your peeps, the people that you have something in common with, where you don't have to explain yourself. You know it. You have that info. And it's a great level of awareness to have and take with you. And so it's delightful to find each other. One of the things I've loved the most about the center is, new people would walk in and you could just look across the room at the spirits coming in and going, oh, I know that person. I recognize that spirit. And we've known each other. There's that connection and everybody feels it. So that's a real thrill about being there in person, is you find that you get to know each other by Zoom, but it's in a whole different way. So it has been fun over all these years to find those kind of connections. I started out in Berkeley, California, at 27, and I'll be 69 in a couple of weeks. And I've never lost that connection. Some of those people I met at 27 are still best friends. We still talk and write and have a great time together, because that connection is soul to soul. It doesn't matter about the body, what your job you have or what you're wearing or how you look. It's more that inner connection. And that's what goes with you the distance. And that's what's so much fun, is really having that interlocking ability to connect. One of my old students, he's dead now, so I can tell this story on him, was an older man, and he was very, very rigid. And he came to me one day and he said, I am so afraid the other students are going to see this about me. And I was on the floor laughing so hard. I'm like, are you kidding me? They can't miss it. The magic is they like you in spite of it. So let yourself like yourself, because nobody's judging you. They see it. Yeah, you're rigid. Somebody else is goofy. Who cares? It's that soul connection. And it's really great to get past that point of having to be a certain way in order to fit in, but being able to just be you as an authentic spirit and let that energy flow. And I think that's more what people are looking for, is that kind of connection. I think it's what we're all hungry for, is really ourselves, that authentic part of us. And as you do more and more of this work, you get more and more of that part of you comes out. So that innate intuition, that innate knowledge that you came in with shines through, and people see it. It's really fun to look, and you read everybody better than you read yourself in many ways. So you can see it in somebody else. It's like, oh, that person, they never have any problems. Ha! So it is fun to, be able to look and use your intuition to notice things about each other. And that sacredness of really responding to that part of people really wakes people up. And that's another fun part of connecting, soul to soul, spirit to spirit. And once we get around to being back in person again, we'll have some big, parties and invite everybody. And be great if we could fly Fiji out here, and India and Canada. Be great to be able to connect. But until then, we connect through the miles, so it doesn't matter. You might find you start to dream with some of these people that you're online with, and maybe you haven't even known them before, but you might start to see them in your dreams, because that's how spirit works. You find each other and you connect, and it's great to become aware of some of your dreams, because we all go to school in a way on the dreams plane, the astral plane. There's a lot of learning, there's a lot of work on healing the planet, getting it ready for some of its changes. To me, it's going to become much more of a spiritual planet, and that's going to be interesting. So all this darkness, all this hatred is boiling up and coming out, and you are going to see a whole different world. Now, some of you are going to finish the work that some of us old dogs began. So in about 15, 18 years, you're going to see a whole different world than anything you can imagine now. Just like when you were 20, how many would have imagined where you are right now? Anybody? You couldn't have imagined a worldwide pandemic. You couldn't have imagined cell phones. I mean, we joked about them with, Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty. You couldn't have imagined where healing's going to go. We will have those machines that heal the body. So it's interesting where we're going. And you young pups are going to really have a great time. You're going to see the fruit of all this change and all this work, which is great. And us old dogs on the other side will be cheering you on. So it'll be fun. Doesn't matter which side you're on. Spirit is spirit. The membrane really is so small between us, between those that have gone on and where we are now. It's amazing. You'll recognize it more and more as time goes on. So just really know, wherever you are, you're in the best place. You picked this incredible lifetime, and it's really going to serve you well. So the main thing is have fun. Stop taking it all too serious. It's just going to unfold. Just be with it. And as much as you can, really savor the moments, the times of gratitude. Let the love shine through. Pay it forward, help those around you, and really watch how this whole earth spins.